Welcome to Dark Hub. Tonight, we open the coffin of history and uncover a curse that has haunted humanity for centuries. The curse of blood. For 1 hour, we will travel through forgotten castles, dark villages, and modern cities, searching for the truth behind the world's most terrifying legend: vampires. Not far away in Hungary lived Countess Elizabeth Bathory. They called him Vlad the Impaler. In the 15th century, in the land of Wallachia, he ruled with terror. He impaled thousands of enemies on wooden stakes, leaving their bodies to rot in the sun. Some said he drank the blood of the dead to show his power. This man became the inspiration for Dracula. But he was no myth. He was real. Not far away in Hungary lived Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Noble, beautiful, and feared. She believed that bathing in the blood of young girls would keep her young forever. Servants brought victims to her castle. Their screams echoed through stone halls. Elizabeth Bathory murdered more than 600 girls. They called her the Blood Countess. She was history's most prolific female killer, and she bathed in crimson. History's vampires did not hide in shadows. They lived in castles, they ruled kingdoms, and they turned blood into power. But vampires are older than castles. Centuries before Dracula, villages across Eastern Europe whispered about the dead who refused to stay buried. They called them upir, corpses dug from the ground, pale and swollen, blood at the corners of their mouths. In Serbia, entire communities panicked when strange deaths swept through villages. They dug up bodies and drove stakes through their hearts. Soldiers of the Austrian army even documented these hunts. This was not fantasy. It was real hysteria. In the Carpathian Mountains, people left garlic at their windows, crosses at their doors. They feared the night. They feared the graveyard. And above all, they feared what walked when the sun went down. For peasants, vampires were not a story. They were a daily threat. And their fear shaped centuries of belief. Not all vampires belong to the past. Some lived in our time. In the 1990s, in Kentucky, a teenager named Rod Ferrell claimed to be a vampire king. He led a cult of young followers. They drank blood in rituals. In 1996, Rod murdered the parents of his girlfriend, beating them to death with a crowbar. He was only 16 years old. In California, the world met Richard Chase, the vampire of Sacramento. In the late 1970s, Chase killed 6 people. He drank their blood, ate parts of their bodies, and believed he needed blood to survive. He was not a monster from legend. He was a man, but his thirst was real. And even today, there are vampire communities. Clubs in New Orleans, New York, and London where people drink blood in secret rituals. They do not hide their identity. They call themselves living vampires. So maybe the legend never died. It just adapted to modern times. Science has tried to explain the vampire curse. Some doctors say it was porphyria, a disease that makes the skin burn in sunlight and lips turn red from blood damage. Others say it was tuberculosis. Corpses looked pale with blood at the mouth. And some believe it was madness, a condition called Renfield syndrome, where people crave blood. But what science cannot explain is the persistence of the myth. Why every culture, from Europe to Asia to the Americas, has its own vampire stories. Why across centuries humans always fear creatures of the night. Perhaps vampires were never supernatural. Perhaps they were human monsters hiding behind myth. Or perhaps the myth was built on something that once was real. For centuries we've told stories of vampires, legends of immortality, tales of beauty, horror, and blood. Some were rulers who turned murder into power. Some were killers who believed they needed blood to live. And some may still walk among us, hidden in plain sight. Vampires may not rise from graves, but the thirst for blood, the hunger for power, the dream of immortality still lives. Perhaps the real curse of the vampire is not in the legend. It is in us. This is Dark Hub.